Hey Lori, I just want to say I really thought it was great that you shared that letter. And I also thought it was kind of funny because you said you wrote a letter to yourself to come out to yourself. What I did was I actually wrote a book. No lie, no joke, no exaggeration. I'm not talking about how, like, when somebody's writing like a paper or something and it winds up running like super super long and somebody goes, "Hey, what are you doing, writing a book?" No, it's a legit book. Like, it takes up two of these, like that one and that one. This was my life for about a year. And yeah, look at that. It's filled with, and yeah, I painted the inside right there. But it's filled with it. Everything just, But yeah, it's all modeled after like how I was feeling at the time. Like it's something that's still really important to me. Not as important as it was at the time. But it sort of helped me because it wasn't like, it helped me ease into it, because it wasn't like I was like, no, it's not me, it's this girl in this book. I could sort of push it off to her and be like, no, it's just the character. The character is getting into me, But yeah, I was able to vent a whole lot of just fears and all this other stuff. People weren't going to accept me. All this other stuff was going to happen, just right into this character. And I really, really can't wait to get it. I actually edited it down, cleaned it up. I think I even added a character, but and I'm really hoping to get it published. So, by actually this amazing LGBTQ agent, I'm hoping will represent it. Colleen Lindsay, if you've ever heard of her, she's an absolute giant. She's amazing. But yeah, I figured it'd be kind of cool if I read you a little bit of it to sort of, I don't know, you read your letter, I figured I'd read a little bit of my book. So but yeah, I'm gonna read just a little bit of the first part, and then, okay, hold on, let me get to the actual part. Okay. Now they actually just got back in from a storm. I know it's super 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 cliche, but the time was all I can think of. And I think I wouldn't want to change it. They just set up a fire in the house. Alright. I began to chase the shadows from the fire on the old wooden floor with my eyes, afraid to let my hands escape the warm refuge of the blanket. Slowly, Fiona rested her head on my shoulder. Under the blankets I could feel her tracing my hand delicately with her fingertips, making circles and swirls. She edged closer and, somewhat hesitantly, lay the palm of her hand over top of mine completely, intertwining our fingers. She stayed tense for a brief moment, and then quickly relaxed, more delicately still, massaging her thumb in a soothing cadence on the side of my hand. I should have pushed away, but I didn't want to. It didn't feel wrong at all. It felt wonderful and strange, and confusing. Just staring at the offending hand in awed terror, I suddenly grew more aware of her steady warm breath on my neck, and her eyes set on the back of my head. I was so confused I just looked at her, and she stared right back. After a long pause, she leaned up, measuring my reaction, to which there was none, due to intense shock, and pressed her lips against mine. My insides were screaming. I should have pushed away, been disgusted and yelled, screamed, hit her. I pulled her closer. Couldn't even muster up enough strength to pull away. I should have walked out that door, angry and hurt, but I stayed exactly where I was. A sense of absolute euphoria overpowered anything else that could possibly be going on. I never wanted it to end. So that's basically the whole first thing. And then this is the next day when she realizes what exactly happened. I did nothing the whole morning after that but run in the opposite direction. I just had to get out of there, or I knew something bad would happen. I knew I'd wind up hurting her, maybe even more than I already have. After a few hours, when my feet felt like lead bricks, my legs were so numb they took on the consistency of limp noodles, and I was sure that I could not take one more step without dying. I collapsed into a blubbering mess on the ground. I bawled like a baby for what felt like a solid hour and a half, thinking about nothing, but how liberating it felt to let everything out. To allow every tear I'd been holding in just gush out all at once was like lifting the lid off a pressure cooker just before it was about to blow. After I was done crying, I lit up a cigarette, shaking, and thought, I don't so much like smoking as watching the smoke relaxes me. The smell of it also reminds me of my dad. I don't remember much about him, but I'll never forget the way he smelled. Stale cigarettes, Old Spice, and sawdust. It makes me feel closer to him sometimes, so half the time I'll just light him up like incense in my room or something to calm me down and just let it seep into all the fabrics. I do smoke them sometimes, and this was one of those times that called for heavy-duty measures. I chain-smoked for the first time ever, trying to calm myself down so I could think. I can't be gay. If I am and someone finds out, I'm dead and so is she. It goes against everything I know and everything I've ever been taught about what is right and wrong. I refuse to be one of them. I don't want either one of us to be on the other end of that tractor chain. I took a long drag and then flicked away another cigarette, lighting one quickly to follow. I smoked about half of it, thinking more and wishing somehow I had something a bit stronger than generic light. This is how I know there's no God. If there was, why would he do this to me? Why the hell would he let one of his children get treated like this? And what the hell did I ever do to him from the one to make me feel like I might as well be a pile of shit on someone's shoe? I took the last few drags of that cigarette and flicked it away, like the others, then snapped back to reality. I was freezing cold, and the sun was setting. So, yeah, that's, I don't know, a lot of that is reflecting what I was feeling at the time. I was Catholic family, you know. I was positive that I was going to hell for the thoughts that I was having. People were going to treat me differently. I started questioning my faith so much and just beating myself up a lot. But, yeah, so that's what happened. I just figured I'd share that with you. I thought it was kind of interesting that we both wound up writing something, and I figured I might share. But yeah, okay. Super Nanny's on. I love Super Nanny. I actually have to go take care of the dog, so see ya.